This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. I represent Bahamian people. I from Nassau, Bahamas, Bintan, bro. Boy, I from Bintan, bro. Right between West and Augusta, where them two roads meet, they call it Wilkinson Street. Manners and respect was like a sign blank check. It seems the ones that coming after quick to disrespect. You see this life here don't never easy. So many hungry days break till it grieve me. But I doing the best I can, trying to turn my dollar to 100 grand. I represent the ghetto people. I from Nassau, Bahamas, big up in Bahamas.
Good night, Bahamas, and welcome to Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. I am your host, Valentino Brown, aka Scoochie or Scrooge or Mayor or whatever you want to call me. So many nicknames over the years that I've been able to accomplish. That's how people show their respect, because I'm a senior man and the things I'm doing in the community, a lot of people just respect me for what I'm able to accomplish for my community and my country. Telephone numbers tonight on Guardian Radio are 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259, and you can text us, powered by BTC, at 422-GR96. We have a special guest in studios tonight, but before we introduce him, I just want to give a quick comment. Mark, I just want to say 3 minutes, and then we get straight to the Bain and Grand Summer Games and how we're going to get it started. How can you participate? Where can you sign up? And what it is all about? And who is going to benefit? So we'll be discussing that in a few minutes. We were supposed to have Abel Joseph and Nate the Great come in studios to participate on this night, but I guess they're on their way. If not, well, me and Mark get it handled. My good friend Kelsey Lundy, who is a good friend of mine, he told me week before last, he said, stops by me, and he, people like what I'm doing, so I'm the eyes and ears, and I speak for the inner city community, and they know that, I represent the inner city community. As the song state, that is my friend Maestro song that plays on the beginning of the show, and he's a singer, and that is just one of his classical songs, and that is especially designed for this show here. He took the time out to design that particular music for this particular show. Yeah, and Mr. Lundy, he told me, we need to talk more about the police, but I'm gonna make this real quick. I commented on the later part of my show last week. So this goes to the Deputy Commissioner of Police, Clayton Fernando, who is doing a wonderful, wonderful job of advising and updating the general public on situation concerning the crime wave in the country, telling us about the criminal. He's also telling you to be mindful where you're walking, especially ladies, as the rape statistics increase in the country. So he's telling those who are jogging in dark places to be more vigilant, watch your surroundings, and also watch the faces of people passing as you're walking along your route. So you got to be very careful, ladies, when you're out jogging. So the Deputy Commissioner of Police is also warning you, advising you to be vigilant. The Deputy Commissioner of Police, Clayton Fernando, I know personally. He was an officer at the Criminal Investigation Department when I was a young gangster on the streets in Nassau, New Providence. So I know him very well. He was a very strict, very serious, very honest, very dedicated officer. And he is addressing numerous matters that concern the general public, and especially the operation that the Royal Bahamas Police Force apprehend and take guns that are carrying 200 rounds, guns that are carrying modified, handguns that are carrying modified drum clips capable of shooting 50 rounds. And we are seeing an increase in that. And commissioners updating us on the tactics the Royal Bahamas Police Force is doing, which thumbs up. But at the same time, we talk about guns. We talk about the criminal elements are on the streets. But what about the criminal elements that exist in our Royal Bahamas Police Force, our Royal Bahamas Defense Force? For reason I'm saying that is because recently I was reading and I saw where a police officer, I can't pin which police officer, but a police officer was charged for a very serious offense of armed robbery. And then as the charges began to come to light, you saw we also get charged with illegal firearm. Then a week prior before that, this officer, he got charged also with forgery of going into Bank of the Bahamas, where he was able to get funds up to over $100,000+ out of the Bank of the Bahamas when it was done fraudulently. And the second time he did it, he was caught with a fine in the Bank of the Bahamas on Shirley Street. But what I'm trying to find out, and this gun was illegal, all right? So if we have a police officer who is committing armed robberies or robberies, right? Then he is found in possession of a legal firearm. Then we have the defense force who also was found doing fraudulent, funny business with the bank. And then he also was found with illegal firearm. Now, my point is this. How do a police officer get a legal firearm and how a defense force officer illegal firearm? First, I'd like to say this. I can't say which officer or which police or which defense force officers, who it is on the police force, but they are bad apples, all right? And bad apples I'm referring to is we take a look. Do police commit heinous crimes? I can't. Do police commit murders and do not get charged for it? I cannot say that, but I could speak on a particular matter where a great officer by the name of Zach Jeffrey Tucker, who was killed in the line of duty, protecting the country, protecting his fellow police officer, and protecting a pedestrian. And Zach was killed on duty by a bad police officer who was in the act or just finished the act of breaking an entry. All right? In that, Zach was killed. And Zach was still able, before he passed, he was still able to execute his duty to save the good police officer and a pedestrian who was in the police car at that same time. But the bad police officer shot Zach in the back of his head. And Zach, becoming conscious, and probably God bless him, to save the lives of both the innocent police and the passenger who was locked up innocently, he was able to, I don't know how, to regain consciousness and was able to return fire and get rid of a bad cop on the Royal Bahamas Police Force. So we have a cop who was robbing back 20 years ago, and we had a cop who wanted to kill a next police officer and was ready to kill a civilian. So we could say that police officers, some police officers, we don't know who, it could be any police officer, they are involved in illegal activity in this country, just as well as defense force officers are involved in illegal activities in the country. And for this, before I get to you, Mark, defense force officers, how do they get illegal gun? I can't say again who defense force officer, what defense force officer, but I remember hearing the stories about a specific Gibson guy in the 90 days who were out to sea. He was collecting drugs as a defense force captain and was picking up the shipment and was dispersing the shipment in the country. So all these things right now, you understand what I'm saying? All these things. So I would like for the Deputy Commissioner of Police to start addressing these matters. You do good on addressing the criminal matters of what the criminals are doing with the AK-47s, with the 9mm. But when it comes to the police officers who are breaking the law, hey, we had nothing about it. It was just put before the court, and it's hush, hush. Though it can be hush, hush. The same how you could come out nationally and talk about the criminals, we need to hear these officers are innocent until proven guilty, but they were charged before the court. And in the Bahamas, they say, what they say?
You're guilty.
And you have to prove yourself innocent. So we need to have this discussion. So Deputy Commissioner, you're a great police officer, and I'm looking forward to the day to see you be Commissioner of Police. I see a lot of things going to get done under your realm, but you need to address these matters because we are seeing this spike where officers are involved in illegal activity. So it seems to me it's not just the criminals on the street. It seems that to me that officers who have certain powers and the defense force officers again. That's my interpretation. I'd say defense force officers them out on routine patrol, protecting the bombers. There's a sloop, there's an American ship, there's some guy smuggling drugs. There's a captain or sergeant on the boat. They pull this boat over. When they check this boat is loaded with cocaine, this boat is loaded with firearms, this boat is loaded with guns. Now, if the officers has integrity and cares about his country, they would call in and turn this in. So you don't think for a minute that defense force officers out there on the sea apprehending illegal drugs and firearms is going to turn in all illegal drugs and firearms because to them, they are underpaid, they're out to sea, they have no commissioner, they have no one watching them, they're the judge, jury, and the executioner. What you think they're going to be doing out there? They're going to decide, buddy, you better let's go and make some money. I get my boys this way who do a little bit of drugs, or I have my boys who sell firearm. You get your share, and I get my share. This how it go. But these things go invisible in the country, and I ain't scared to talk about it because just exactly what's going on in our country. When they're out there, that's exactly what goes on in our country. Same way with these on patrol, they pull somebody over. I say, nah, this how it go. But these things we don't want to talk about because we so good. We so good. Our police so good. But yet I could talk to you about Zach, who was killed by a bad cop. So I have my evidence. And then the reports go with this latest matter of a police getting fined with illegal firearm. When these police, some of these police who are crooked, Mark, when they're on their patrol, and they pull some guys over, and they have guns, some guys have some money or whatever, them police take them guns off them guys and keep on those guns for themselves. So that's how you see these police and defense officers getting with these illegal firearms. So if you want to deal with crime in this country, you're going to have to watch the officers out to sea, the defense force officers. You're going to have to watch the officers of the Royal Bahamas Police Force also. You're going to have police who's going to have to be investigating police and locking police up, and you're going to have defense force officers investigating defense force officers who are involved in illegal activities in order to stop crime in this country. So when you talk about guns, it comes from the defense force officers out to sea, the police who are on the streets. Now listen. Now listen closely. This for the bad apples, because you see they got locked up. That means proper investigation went done because the police had some type of information concerning these particular officers. Until they get credible evidence, they was able to go to the investigation and put them before the court. So you see that happen. But I'm saying we get bad apples in this country. You don't know what they're being involved in and putting everything on the criminals. You understand? You don't like to know what's going on in this country and everything is just the criminals. So Deputy Commissioner of Police, what you need to do, you need to start having a press conference just to talk about all the bad police officers charged before the court and what's happening with them so it could be balanced. That's all I have to say about it. All right? Mark, I don't know. I'm sorry, but that was on my chest. I had to get it off. And Guardian, I'm glad y'all give me the opportunity to speak because y'all are making change in the country. Because I'm from the streets and I know exactly what is going on in this country. And I ain't afraid to talk because I want my country to be a better place. And any wrong I see, and I could give a word and point, and so that people can look in that direction to make some changes in order for us to have a better and safe country, well, so be it. So Guardian Radio, you're doing a wonderful job of helping me on talking about the stories and my experience. All right, thank you very much. All right, my main man. Okay, in order to bring some relief to the inner city community There's nothing much happening now with the last 2 years of the COVID-19. We're coming out of a pandemic and going into we was in the election period, but unfortunately, we had to get rid of dysfunctional government that wasn't really serving its purpose functionally, was making some bad choices, made some good choices, but overall, it was a bad performance based on how we vote at the poll at the general election. The people decide that. So now we on board now with a new government, with new initiative and new programs, and we brought here a community leader who I've been working with for the last 15, 20 years, who is just like me, concerned about the community, want to find programs that are going to be beneficial to the kids in the community in order to combat crime in his inner city community. So I'd like for him to introduce himself here today.
Pleasant good afternoon, Bahamas. My name is Mark Knowles from the Bay and Down community. And I just want to applaud Scrooge for just his bravery, just being brave. It's hard when you know so much bad things happening in your country, and you're afraid to speak out, or you just don't want to get involved because you don't know what the repercussions will be. But I must say you're doing a tremendous job. You're doing an excellent job, and I'm just proud to know that somebody like yourself have the opportunity to bring these things to light. School, made you go back.
Way back.
Working in these
I always
communities.
like your spirit. When I first met you.
I've been taking a break. I took a break.
To.
I took a break during the last 3-4 years with the previous government because just trying to do programs in my community, it was really difficult. Mm-hmm. You want access to the parks. Persons responsible for the park, they run all kind of red tape, and you're doing community outreach, and they make it so difficult. I say,
this is the most important thing.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. I just say, man, I just can sit back, because nobody was paying me. Nobody paid me for doing these community initiatives. You know what I'm saying. I say I just will help in a smaller way. You know what I'm saying. But the red tapes you had to go through just to get use of parks and so forth, to even do breakfast giveaways. There was so much red tape and up and down. I took a step backward, and I just want to say, God has been awesome. He has changed, bring us in a new day. I don't want to politicize nothing, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
The present government has always been a government where they work with the small man. And I really tried to work with.
All governments.
All government, you know what I'm saying? Because I work from a community standpoint, but it was just really difficult during the last administration. But now today, my MP, my representative today, he's really, really, really open to suggestions. He has a plan. He has a 10-point plan, and me and his plans
coexist.
Coexist.
Same intentions. Same intention.
Yeah. So my work will be even easier.
Yes.
Doing work in the community, and it should be for you too.
Yes.
Maybe you have the same representative.
Yes. We do.
Yeah. And so he has a lot of things on the drawing board. You know what I'm saying? I think it will make our community and the bigger picture of our country a great country. And one of the first initiatives that was brought out was the Bain and Grandstand Summer Games, which I was elected to be the chair.
Great job.
For the next 2 years.
Pick the right man to do the job.
Yeah, people don't know these programs, spearheading programs and so forth, is really, it's time consuming.
It's time consuming. They're expensive.
Yeah,
it's time consuming and very expensive.
A lot of times you have to dip your hand in your pocket.
Let's hold it right down. When you're saying time consuming, right, and you have to dip your hand in your pockets, you want to do good for your community. You want to do good for your country. But you get kids who don't love tennis. You have females who want to be a part of a program that don't have the proper attire. Some of them, I don't want to go as to say, what it is, but just tennis. Some need proper pants, proper shirt, And also they need to be get fed because you would have kids coming to your program who haven't eat breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And when they go in home after a hard day's work of practice, they don't have nothing to carry home. So that's why he's saying he have to also dig in his pocket because it's hard for a young man like him to have a program, taking care of his family and having kids there who are starving and don't have the proper attire. Go ahead. Sorry for interrupting you.
No, man, you're right. You know, because you go through the same thing I go through. You
Yes.
know? Well, I was able to take a break and save some money.
Because it's very expensive and time consuming.
It's really expensive, you know.
And you'd cry. Not saying cutting you off, right? Sorry for cutting you off. And you'd cry to hear the stories and see the kids when they're asking you for small things. What if you don't have it to offer them? What if a little girl is there and she's telling you her stomach is rumbling, telling you as a coach or a trainer, what you think is going to happen if she leaves from there and don't get that?
Anything could happen. Even not only the young
boys.
females, the young boys too, because you have fellas who pray and they use that as an opportunity.
Yes.
Yeah, so, you know, these programs, when you see anybody running programs, not only from the Bain and Grandstand community,
All
but
over.
from any community, I want to give a shout out to College Raid also. But anybody who's doing programs, you know, it's really difficult, and I really want those persons to support our country, to support these persons who doing programs in communities,
Whether it's private or government.
private or government, you know, because, you know, you need that encouragement sometimes. Sometimes, you know, you walk through the community and, you know, somebody give you a thumbs up and so forth, and that just motivates you to go on, all right? But like I said, our first initiative is the Bain and Grandstand Summer Games. And I just want to share something with you that
Go ahead, man.
the Summer Games, the countdown is on. We did a press release last
Nice.
month. And so the Summer Games, the countdown is on for the Bain and Grandstand Summer Games 2022. The multi-sport program is designed to promote community unity among the people of Bain and Grandstand. And the sporting events we will be using this year, or be partaking in this year, is softball, basketball, track and field. And they are the three disciplines that we're starting with, because we find them to be easy. But, you know, when you start something, you want to go with something easy.
Yeah.
So catch on to the community, and next year we hope to grow it to some other sporting disciplines. And the goal of the game is to bring the community of Bain and Grandstand together during the months of June to August in a friendly sporting environment where residents can showcase their sporting skills and talents. Now, even though it's the Bain and Grandstand sporting community, we still are offering the opportunity for those persons who have skills, you know, because at this Summer Games, we will have stalls
Yes.
where persons can showcase their talents, you know, that good macaroni, that good potato bread.
So it's also about having a festival, so those who live in the community, while it's going on for a whole month, they can set up their stalls and having revenue and income.
Yes,
So chicken
yes.
wings or
Yes.
etc.
You know.
Kong fritter.
You have persons, we know of persons, you know, growing up, you know of persons who
Yes.
make I'm sure you could probably
Potato bread.
call somebody name. I don't want you to get in no problems. But you could call somebody name who used to make some good fritters when you was
Yes,
growing up.
yes.
Yeah, so, you
Miss
know.
Wilson.
See, you get yourself in problems. Yeah, but we want those persons to showcase and to make some monies also.
Yes.
We also want to give what we call DJs in the community an opportunity where they could come out and partake a night or two, and, you know, they get paid for it, put some money in their pocket. So it's a vast program.
Yeah, so much can happen at this event.
Okay, but the athletes will compete for the gold, silver, and bronze medals. The patrons of the games will be Mrs. Cynthia Mother Pratt and Mr. Fred Papa Smith.
Oh.
And both of these individuals born in the Bain and Grandstand community.
So we're on Mother Pratt
Yeah.
and Papa Smith.
And Fred Papa Smith.
I got to find with Papa Smith.
Fred Papa Smith. Baseball, man.
Oh yeah. I know.
Yeah,
I know now.
baseball at the
Yes.
government ground.
Yeah, Malacca's inside Malacca's Bakery. You have his name up. All the
Okay.
legends.
Okay, and every year we'll be honoring
Different.
different persons from the community
Who?
who has
Who
excelled.
contributed and excelled.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Great.
All
Nice.
right. The games will be on the Southern Recreational Ground. Basketball and the softball games will be on the Southern Recreational Ground. And we also have a track meet, a one-day track meet. And that will be at the T.A. Robinson Sports Center. Okay? And the fun part about that is
Caller coming to you right now.
the 12-year-olds will be, it'll be more fun for them. The 13 to 17, this is the divisions, it's 3 divisions. The 13 to 17, those will really be competing, because at that age, they're really competing.
Yes.
And at that age, we want to have opportunities for them. So we want to invite all of the private school coaches.
Yes.
You know
To
what I'm
take a
saying?
look at them.
To take a look at them
and scout them.
scout them. You can give them scholarship.
Yes.
We're really trying to push to get them scholarships.
Yes.
All right. And then you have the 18 and over open. And we would probably be announcing probably a 50 and over because, 50-year-old plus.
They want to play too. They want to get there.
They want to get involved
Yes.
too.
Yeah, they want to get
and
involved.
then that aspect would be for like the parents, that way they could get together, and reminisce on those old days. Some
Yes.
people still believe they got little jumps and things, but they don't know when you're 50, man, you really can't touch the net
No.
like that. But all of these disciplines and this whole program is to bring our community together. And people don't know that sports
It's the key.
is the key.
It's the key.
Sports bring everybody
Yes.
together. You see, even during the times of war.
Yeah, the Olympics are going on. Vice in Germany. Jesse Owens was running for the U.S. in Germany, in Berlin.
All right,
And he won 4 gold medals.
Okay, and that was the only time that they really accepted black people.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
And he excelled.
Through sports.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah. So we wanted to create this opportunity for our young people to put down them guns, man.
Yeah.
Display your talent, and hopefully we could get you
Out of this country.
You
Or
know?
still stay in the country to serve your purpose.
reach your full potential.
Yes.
You see? And we want, the fella from East Street to come over to the Blue Hill Road and feel free.
And get to know some people.
And know some people. Because I feel as if this violence that we're experiencing is because they don't socialize.
Yes.
And the sporting programs will help get that.
1 second. We had this call on the line for a very long time. So let's see what they have to say. Go ahead, caller. You're on Inside Inner City. Caller, you there? They're still there? Caller, you can call back if you want to get back on the show. It's no problem whatsoever. Yeah. So you're saying that we are lacking that get-together spirit. We're so trapped in one particular area, and that's why exposure is a very serious thing, and sports can generate that exposure for you to meet other people from different communities. A prime example is just recently when I invited you to the basketball tournament I had in the Bain Grandstand a few years ago, and you could see the interaction with those kids. They got to know one another from Baintown, Hay Street, Mason Edition. You saw how they were able to interact with one another.
Yes.
You understand? So we know exactly what we're saying, and we're professional at this. I'd like to also compliment the minister for being a grandson, Mr. Watson, for actually letting you spearhead this program because you are the most qualified. You don't have the paperwork, but you have the experience. You don't need, what you call it, bachelor's degree or what else it is? Master's degree, doctorate's degree, and all this stuff. But you need to be paid as a contractor and a private consultant because this is how we're going to have to do things now in this country if we want to make real progress, because you demonstrated just now on the challenges of going into these inner city communities with programs. But at the end of the day, these kids need tennis, they need clothing, they need food. And you say to yourself that you dig in your pocket. So it has to be way now for persons like ourselves to be paid private contractors to do this work. Because you're dealing with a community, you're dealing with kids every day, and they need help every day. They need help coming to the program. They're going to need transportation. Wherever they got to go from the sports center, they're going to leave the government ground. They're going to have to go to the sports center. You're going to need a bus. You're going to need buses to be doing them up and down. Then you're going to have to watch them. So it's also, the governments have to consider that persons like yourself and me, Nate, and anyone out there who is working in these communities are going to have to be paid, private consultants paid for, have to going to be paid. I think the call is back on the line. Sorry for saying that, Mark. Go ahead, caller. You're on Inside Inner City. Caller, you there?
Hello?
Yeah, you got to turn on your mic, please.
It's good.
Yeah, you have to turn it down.
LP, who you getting, via the PIP, pay the national insurance people.
No, we ain't talking
Money
about,
up
no. So, excuse me, we ain't talking about no national insurance, all right? We're talking about programs that is going to benefit the people. We're not talking about national insurance. If you want to talk to him, but it can't be about national insurance.
LP,
We can't hear you too good, sir. He's gone. You know, he's talking to you?
I don't know nothing but no national
How
insurance.
you got to do with national insurance?
I pay my national insurance.
I don't understand what's going on with that. You have to go talk to national insurance about that. Why? I mean, that's his problem. But anyway, getting back. See, we're having a good conversation with something that's beneficial to the country.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And sometimes people want to take their frustrations on other people. That's how we are in this country today. So we have to stick to the topic because I don't know what that was all about.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the Bain Grandstand Summer Games begins June 27, goes to August the 1st, 2022. Tell me about the 5 zones.
Okay. The polling divisions were there's 10 polling divisions in the Bain Grandstand community.
10 polling divisions.
Yes. And so,
based on the election just started.
based on the election.
You come on, listen, you use this to see how you could map out the community.
Map out the community.
Good.
So we put 2 polling divisions together, all right, to get 5, and we call them zones.
Zones.
And so that's what we'll be working with. We'll be working with the 5 zones, okay? And we have zone 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we name them. Zone 1 will be named the Dillies, after our native fruits in our community.
That's nice.
Zone 2 is the Sapodilla.
Sapodilla.
Yeah. Zone 3 is the Star Apple. Zone 4 is Knaps. And I think when I was showing this to somebody earlier, they said, why you all name something the Knaps and Fox Hill have the sweetest Knaps? They probably never taste our Knaps in Bain and Grandstand because we don't even wait on them to ripe, but they so sweet. Yeah, it's Zone 5, which is a blue zone. And we couldn't come up with no blue fruit, so we named it the Blue Mallet.
The Blue Mallet.
Yeah, still indigenous to the Bahamas.
Well, that's nice.
Yes. All right. But I also just want to say we have a committee, the Bain and Grandstand Committee, that I am presently sitting as the chairman.
You should.
And we have, my wife is Diaz Delancey. She's also from the Grandstand community.
Okay. Mr. Delancey?
Yes.
Mrs. Delancey.
Mrs. Delancey, yes. And she's also a member or former member of the Bahamas National Women's Basketball Team.
Okay, good.
Okay. We also have Patricia Burrows, who's our secretary. Kendrick Ferguson, everybody know him as Froggy, our treasurer. And our assistant treasurer is Abel Joseph.
That's Abel Joseph. That guy, he's remarkable.
Yes, we also have consultants. Our senior consultant, Sean Bastian, from, I think it's the assistant director of athletics over by UB.
See?
And we have Miss Janie Skawala. All right, she's at ZNS. And it's a dynamic.
Jeannie, that's my jack, Miss Jeannie. Jeannie. That's my jack.
Yeah, bad Jeannie, so do all
That's
the
Jeannie from Jeannie from last time we went ZNS with Juan Miller.
Okay.
Yes, that's what she used to think of. She still is at Nest.
She still is there.
That's my Jack.
Yeah, man. Real people.
I can't wait to meet again. Oh, this
Yeah.
good. This good.
Real people. And we also have, because we're not just focusing, like I said, not just on the sporting
No. This
element.
is,
We also have some interrupters, coaches, personal coaches, developmental coaches, and Mr. Lunn.
yeah, he's running.
William Lunn,
Yeah,
who-
Salem
who-
Unit Baptist Church.
yeah,
Yes.
who work with the kids over by Salem, all right, and he bring his expertise in counseling. And so if we find
A lot of, yeah.
kids that need counseling, some kids might be acting out, we bring him in
Hey,
to get with those kids.
these kids need counseling. We just saw the other day where female students try to clothesline a principal. All right.
I heard about that.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's much worse than that. The children them get a lot of stress. Listen right now. The Bahamas right now needs to heal. We need all hands on deck in this country. Because it shows you the frustration when you could see a little female teenager,
Not even a male.
not even a male, swing at a female principal in school. Something got to be wrong.
Yeah.
And we see all the fights happening with females and boys and etc. We
Yeah.
got sick society. Hey, there's a lot of people in this country of mental sickness or mental illness now, and that's because of pure stress.
Yeah.
All right, gangs is just a tip of the iceberg. What's going on in this country right now? Gangs ain't the number one cause of crime in this country.
No.
Stress is.
Yes.
Everyday life. People wondering when their lights gonna get turned off or how they're gonna pay the rent. How they're gonna be able to send their kids to school. What they're gonna do to eat at night. What I'm gonna do for my future. People have no sense of direction right now, Mark. If you ask any of the young guys on the street what you want to be and what you want to do, no sense of direction.
And that's right. You're right. You're right about that.
There's no sense of direction in this country. So that's why you see so many falling through the cracks and getting themselves involved in illegal activities, selling drugs or being a part of gangs and become some of the most heinous set of criminals in the
Heartless.
country's history. Just because they have no sense of direction, and these kids would being in grandstand summer games, it's also to try and to change their mindset and set them in the right direction.
Give them a little hope, Give them a little hope and let them know that somebody believe in them. I was in conversation for the last month or so, and it was heart-wrenching
Yeah.
to see the Grifter games. I watched the Grifter games. I big fan of the Grifter games. And even though we come second, the Bahamas come second, man, when you look at the medal gap, you know what I'm saying? But I always tell people, I say, man, if some people from Bain and Grandstand was on that team, we'd get more medals.
Of course, you're talking about the difference from Jamaica and the Bahamas.
Yeah. you know what
Jamaica
I'm saying?
came first, but the Bahamas came second. But you
Yeah.
saw the medal.
Yeah,
And
the
we know
medal,
the
yeah.
athletes out there.
We have raw
Talent out here.
in our communities.
Just waiting to be discovered.
Yeah, and so this program, we want to highlight them
And showcase
we
them.
want to push with those persons who select these national teams.
Mm-hmm.
That you don't just take the folks who parents live out west or out east
And give them the best opportunity.
and give them the best opportunities. And we have children in the city, in the Bain and Grandstand community, Angliston, St. Barnabas community, who qualify, who run in qualified times, who have qualifying throws, but because of their environment or where they live, they don't get that opportunity.
Yes.
And so that's what our committee will be on also.
Because remember, Pauline Davis came out of being in Grandstand.
Who came out of there?
Pauline Davis.
Oh, right then.
Came
All
out
right.
of being town, and
All
she
right.
talked about her history of running barefoot and stuff like that. And she took the little opportunity she had, and she keep at it. We also have Debbie Ferguson McKinsey, who came out of Wilson Street, being in Grandstand.
That's
Grandstand. Nate the Great, Natalia McKinney, who's supposed to be out here. Bronze, silver medalist, and bronze medalist.
That's right.
Ramon Miller,
That's
who
right.
lived on Lewis Street, who ran the last leg of the 4x4 relay
That's right.
and made us proud when he passed
That's
our American
okay.
sprinter.
That's-
And they're in three corners, One on Lewis Street. Ramon Miller living on Lewis Street. Watch this. Debbie Ferguson McKenzie was living on Hay Street, Wilson Street, And Nate the Great was living old boat what the corner name now? I get it right mad. I get it right mad, man.
Right off Market Street.
Right off Market Street.
The dead end.
Choke Mac Ali, but
Okay.
Choke Mac Ali. He's
All
called it Choke Mac Ali.
All right.
Simeon Hall is called it Choke Mac Ali.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's where Simeon Hall is from.
Yes.
Also. Yeah.
So we had 3 Olympic medal athletes: Lewis Street, Hay Street, and Taylor Street. Back to back. Olympic gold medal, silver and bronze medal. So the talent stand. All of them came up with the same background. Ron Miller used to be running up and down the streets without no tennis on his foot, practicing on Lewis Street.
You see, and so we need to push the next Pauline Davis, the next Debbie, you know what I'm saying, the next Nate the Great,
And all of them are doing
and
good.
Ramon Miller. We, you know,
And all of them are
these
doing
children
good for themselves.
They right through the
And
corner.
all of them are doing good for themselves right now.
Now, yeah.
Pauline Davis is president of the Olympic Association. Oh, she have a big post.
Post. She have a big post.
Very big post.
Yes. You see what I'm saying? And so, you know, we need to push and find them.
Get the most.
They right in our community, you know.
We have no choice, Mark.
Yeah.
Mark.
And we can weed them out, and we can put them on the pedestal,
Mm-hmm.
and let the Bahamas know, and in turn let the world know
Yeah.
that we got the talent.
Yes.
All right, we can give them that opportunity
Yes.
and prepare them for when opportunity comes their way.
Yeah. And, you know, this is great. And you also say the concession stand, why is this event is going on? It's going to be held on, you said, government ground.
The government grant, sudden recreational grant for those.
That's
yeah.
actually Archbishop William Thompson. Park,
Okay.
my great mentor. That's the only pastor I see used to come look for us when we used to do foolishness. He would come running and look to the corner for us because he knew we were top gangsters, and he would preach the word of God to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Archbishop William Thompson, before he passed away,
Right.
he would come look for us. He would jog and come around Hay Street Park or Lewis Street. He would find us no matter what and talk to us because he heard our name was ringing. And he asked where they live and who they are, and he got information because he's a pastor and everyone respected him. And he would come occasionally. You know, unfortunately, he was killed by from a young man who had no morals or no respect for the church or respect for a decent human being.
Yeah.
And we all lose out when we lost Archbishop William Thompson because when he went, that stopped a lot of the opportunities for many of the hundreds of kids, or thousands of kids in that community because a good person like that would have looked out for us. Yeah. He used to reach us, and you can imagine what he would have continued to do as the rector of St. Agnes Church.
His soul rest in peace.
Yes.
You know, but yes, Scrooge, we also want to reach out. We getting together now.
Corporate Bahamas?
The Corporate Bahamas to be a part of. We also would want to reach out to churches in our community.
So you're looking out, this event is going on. And so you're looking to get all of the churches in the community to be a part of this.
Yes.
Because in the church, there's resources. There are persons out there who could see and want to help these kids. Because there's a kid, like you say, you want to showcase these kids. Some of the churches could come with and adopt these kids and all, you know? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Just adopt
yeah.
them. This is like scouting, you know? You're the church. You have a lot of systems. You can look and see the kid is very talented, but comes from a broken home, probably has a mother, but light is off, but the kid still is excelling and wants to do good.
Yeah.
But with a lack of opportunity,
Really?
if you don't watch out, this talent here who could be a Pauline Davis or Nate the Great, will go down the drain as becoming a Samuel Mushi McKenzie,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
who instead of being an example for the Bahamas, an ambassador overseas and doing great for themselves individually as to their success, they would be tarred as mice by bringing down the country.
Menace.
So it's good that the church in that community come out because you could adopt one of these, you could adopt these kids and you could help them out with their tenants, you could help them with their funding, and you could keep and also tutor them with the word of God and set them in the right direction.
That's right. That's right. So we want to give those pastors, those church leaders, an opportunity to be a part of this. And we would be sending communication out to them because we want to meet with them. And, we want them to help us with this because, it takes a village and they are part of the village. It takes a village to build a community. And so, you know,
And we want to bring that back again.
we want to bring that back again, and we want to give them that opportunity. We want to extend the olive branch to the church,
Yes.
all the church leaders.
And we need the church to be more committed, more out the four walls. This program you're talking about, we do them. We do them sailing union.
well,
That's why we're so successful.
but
You know our program.
Yeah, you know, you know.
see the way.
I work with
All right.
pastor there.
I get pastor working.
Yeah, pastor there at Salem Church. Man, look here, they really do outreach programs.
You know why? Listen why. They wasn't too important to listen to a small man who was a big man on getting advice on how we can make a difference in the community. And that's what happened.
And it
Waking
shows.
together, and it shows.
Yeah,
I was their consultant.
Yeah.
Yes, that's how come you see Pastor build the park. That's how you see Pastor work in the community. That's why Pastor Park the school. Inish Raman, 10 years at the church. He was recommending me. And I took him through out to go and show him all the gangsters, told him what the problem is. And from then, he been community minded, getting church members to go and canvass the street, see how much residents live in the house, and was able to do back to school for the kids for the last 7-8 years. And even doing more as we speak. And that's community mind, and that's working together.
Yeah, and I really would challenge
Other churches.
other churches in our community,
Like Salem.
to take that as an example, because I could tell them directly, the pastor there, he's doing an excellent job.
Pastor Hugh Rule and his
it's-
team of great church members and board members.
Awesome.
And they down to earth. And
Yeah.
they listen.
Yeah,
And I want people to remind, the area we're talking about is Grandstand, Lewis Street, H Street, and Taylor Street, which was one of the most violent areas in Nassau history. Okay? That's the only area in Nassau where had police on every corner, and the police was telling you, do not walk the streets in Lewis Street, H Street, and Taylor Street. We had police station. That's how much shooting, and they had to quarantine our neighborhood.
also paying buses.
House pain on all corners but twice. That is the first time that ever happened in the history of the country. And that small community, that should show you how violent and dangerous that area was. Because we had the top criminals in that community. Now, if you see with the work in progress, we're working all around with Pastor Ferguson from the Big Harvest Community Center. Is also helping out. So when you talked about getting the churches involved,
Yes.
right? That is a prime example of knowing how to get things done.
Yeah, I must say the two that CB Moss has.
Oh,
been
yeah,
doing-
man, come on, man, come
CB
on,
Moss
man.
has been doing
Oh, come on, man.
great work in the Baytown community.
Oh, that Mr. Moss, man.
I can't leave.
No, you
because-
can't leave Mr. Moss
because
out.
in the next hour or so, he'd be ringing my phone.
Yeah, Mr. Moss is one of the best.
Yeah, Mr. Moss
He-
has
he's
been
one of the
doing
best.
He's
Yeah.
been doing an excellent job. So Mr. Moss and Pastor Rule.
Yes.
Perfect example.
Perfect example of community-minded
church leaders.
Church leaders
Yeah,
who concerned
religious
for the
leaders,
community.
Yes.
Yes, and that's what we want in the country. See, all hands have to be on deck here, you know, because we have some serious stuff going on in the country. And like I said, the employment in this country for the 5,000 students that come to the school every year, right now, at the current pace of how we're governing the country, I think the government has opened a lot of doors and a lot of business investments. I've seen 100 million here, 400 million here. That is good investment that we're very proud about, that we've seen the Deputy Prime Minister Chester Cooper, talk about, which is very beneficial to our country. Now, here's the thing. How could we funnel some of that money down into the Ministry of Education, which gives directly to organization like this that could reach those kids? So that when the Friday comes, this just in the future, I'm just talking.
Futuristic.
You see, the futuristic, because all this money is invested in the country. We're seeing this now. This government is doing an awesome job of getting investors.
Yes.
Carnival Cruise Line invest in Freeport, buying a hotel for $100 million, etc. That is excellent. But how could we get to the real problem? They put $1.2 million into the home repair, and the first was the roof repair, now it's going to the home repair. They put $1.2 million in that. Now, this is nothing to you, because you're not a party member. I'm just saying this naturally. I think when you're talking about urban development and you're saying $1.2 million, when we get major investments over $100 million and $400 million here and $60 million here, we need to say to ourselves, are we serious on developing and making this country a better place for all to live? We need to start talking about home development. I know $1.2 million. We need to start talking like $20 million for home repair in these inner city community. And if we're talking about investment, we need at least $100 million invested just in sporting program per year in the inner city community alone. All right? I'm just saying that. Not to knock no one off the or whatever.
Yeah.
It has to be. You know, because we're seeing major development, but $100 million here, $400 million here. That is all good. That is beneficial to get us back on track. Because, you know, we come with a hard 2 years of this COVID-19, and a lot of people are out of work and a lot of businesses closed down. Yes. But now we also have to find a way on how we can empower the Pauline Davis out there, the Nate McKinney waiting to be out there.
Yes.
You know, who are part of your program, who are part of my program. Do we want them to go right back on the streets, turning into hardened criminals because they had an opportunity, but we don't have the funds to push them, to take them to the next level, or to get the scouts to come in these communities? We need to have direct funds directly in these communities. So, Mark, that program, you take a 3-year break. But just imagine if you are a leader right now and you're working with Mr. Watson, who is the member of parliament and the member of parliament for being in Grandstand. Imagine if you were empowered, right? Just listen. Just say, you're working with Mr. Watson, you have a program. You have anywhere from 60 to 100 kids, right? You get your little sniping as a consultant, right? For doing your hard work and your dedication on the park. You seeing the problems where when you drop this kid home, you look at he or she, you see the host. It's not appropriate. So you should have access to say, you know what? This young kid who was part of this program, we say we love them, we care about them. Hey, and all this crap about this program. I'm not knocking this program. I'm not knocking this.
No, go ahead.
Right? We say we care about them and we do it. But when we care, after this kid comes from this program and he goes home, you look at the house and the house get holes in it, rats running through. When you look at the roof leaning on one side. So you could be able to go back and say, hey man, I been by Anthony. Who Anthony? Anthony, the one who shoot the basketball good? Yeah, the one who shoot the 3-pointer. Do you see where he live? I think we need the help. So hook me up with Urban Renewal. Hook me up with the Ministry of Public Works. Because now we could be able to help this young kid and his home. So, because this is what the government has to offer. I see the home repair. So I'm just saying that these if we so care, we also have to look at the fact of how these kids are living when they leave that program and goes home. Because they're living in hell. A prime example of what's going on in the country. That same little school girl, she's sending a message. Little Bella sent a message when she walked across the road to that old lady. Yeah. The girl who committed suicide, that young, beautiful girl who committed suicide. When her ex-boyfriend tried to harass her. Yeah. And she was so frightened. And she asked for help. She got some help from some people in the program who helped her out very well. But as she started to get her career on the right track, they see him, no good young boy who's seeing her excelling. And she don't need him no more because he wasn't serving her no purpose. Because now she could be able to take care of him. He won't come back in her life. And cause the girl commit suicide. All these are signed to us. Do we understand what Lil Bella said to us? Do we understand what the young lady said to us? Do we understand why the young man who shoot at the police car and stand up and laugh and then get shot at and killed from the police? These things ain't sending us a message. Yeah. These send us a message. We still ain't interpreted the message. Yeah. We ain't interpreted the message. All these are signs to us that we gotta help our brothers and sisters to achieve their goals in life so that we can have a better Bahamas. And we're gonna have to invest, Mark. A person like ourselves is gonna be getting paid at least $100,000. And guess what? $100,000 just for the program. $30,000 is my pay what I take a year. I take $30,000 a year with $100,000 to make sure that all those kids under my wing, that in my program, is not gonna need no internet. They ain't gonna need no computer. They ain't gonna need no tennis. They ain't gonna need no lunch money for a whole year once I get enough funds. And that is my job and your job. And that's the kind of way I'm thinking right now if we want to make change in this country. So when we get these leaders and all these who are part of these programs, that's what we are for, Mark. We are the eyes and the ears of the MP. If we would get contract, we could deal with these kids year round. And the park should be utilized from January to December.
Yes.
And that's where we come in. Go ahead, Mark.
You know, Scrooge,
I make any sense?
No, you're right, because you know we've been having these discussions for a while. All of us have been having these discussions, not just me and you. You know, but anytime you talk about funding or getting paid, you know, there's a problem, because for some reason, black people believe everything you do is supposed to be for free. We don't mind putting our best foot forward. We don't mind helping our neighbors, our neighbor kids. But like you said, we have to live also. And a perfect example of that, I tell people, things happen for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
A perfect example of that
Give me this example.
was when they had this non-profit organization.
But
Those persons were being paid.
uh-huh.
And these persons,
Uh-huh.
they ain't no small man.
Oh,
who struggling. These were persons. These were
Oh yeah.
persons
Boy, you could try to this. I like this juicy Susie.
who have it,
All right.
but they was paying themselves.
Uh-huh.
All right, and they call it charity work.
And hold.
But
Go ahead. I get it. I get the mic. Preach, my brother.
I don't
Preach.
blame them to a certain extent, because you should be paid for your time.
That's right.
Your time is your most
Important.
important asset that you have. All right? And so that was just a perfect example to open our eyes that, you know, being you Reds, you know, being toiling for years.
And our pockets
And I-
and loose and the stress got
you know,
us.
I see Reds the other day. He had so much children inside. He won, you know, and he said, man, Mark, man, you know, I can get back to you, man, but these children got to go to a game, and I got to put gas in my car, you know. And I asked him, I said, well, you know, you got to put gas in your car. Where you get this gas money from? He said, man, I got to do it. I got to make it happen. These children looking up to me to get them to the game and from the game.
Now hold on.
All right. Now,
Remember they sell you? You're gonna have the big can up and fro, to and fro.
He using his own vehicle.
Uh-huh.
You know, and you know, I have a truck, and I used to help him out a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but you know, I wasn't doing nothing for the last 3 years.
Uh-huh.
You know, when I look at my gas gauge sometime,
Your
I
hard
say,
villain,
boy,
right?
my
Your hard villain, right?
villain,
But what happened?
Unless they can get out and push. No, man. But I mean, seriously, you know, I said, what happened a couple months ago? It was an eye opener for the whole Bahamas to know that even those persons who have still paid themselves.
Mm-hmm.
All right, because they know their work.
So we ain't supposed to know our work?
And
I mean, we doing more work than them.
That's how our kind look at us. You know,
They can't do what we doing. Not in those inner city communities.
no.
Dealing with hundreds of kids. Wait, let me tell you something. So
But
much
not only that, they do what they do, and then they go home.
Uh-huh.
Where our home is.
We live in the community. They come in to walk us home and ask us. They hungry. They want something to eat.
All right then. All right. You see what I'm saying? And so I just want the Bahamas to be sensitized that when you see young persons who have programs in communities,
Invest in them.
you know what I'm saying, invest in
If
them.
they're sincere and concerned about the community, not
Yes,
about themselves.
yes. Do your background search on these people who running these programs and so forth. You know what I'm saying?
But if
And,
you see it with your own
you
eyes,
see it with your own eyes, and you know, you talk to the kids,
And
and
you have
know what
good-
I'm saying. You
work with
have
that
a good
person.
report. You know what I'm saying? Work with those persons, all right? Because it ain't easy. Trust me, it ain't easy. And you know, your heart is tell you a lot of times that you know, you need the help, you need to do this, you need to do that, and sometimes you be taking out your own house or your own cupboard to assist. Ain't nothing wrong with that, because that's how we were brought up, to look out for each other, you know. But
we had a disadvantage.
in this day and time, with the, like you said, Scrooge, with the
Price increase.
with the funds that is running through our country,
No, sir.
you know, we should be compensated. You know,
Right.
saying I say to get rich,
No,
to get
no.
by, and to
make
make our
it.
work efficient.
You see what I say?
Yeah.
I say I take $130,000. $30,000 for me. That's from me putting my time from January to December. The rest of the funds is to make sure those kids go into school on time. I checking up on their homework because I have a team I could sign and pay staff to make sure I deal with this 60 kids that are in my program, to make sure they have attendance on time, to make sure that their grades are up, and to find out where they live, what the problem is anyone molesting them, sexual abuse, anything, what's going on home. So that's what it's all about. And I'm working my way to that now. So you understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
I'm dealing with the sexual abuse just in case, sometimes these kids could be, we saw in the home where just 3 days or 4 days ago, where a mother just found out her daughter was sodomized in the school by other students.
Yeah.
Then we just saw last year where we had government officials who working in the child center abused the child.
Abusing the children.
So in order to protect me as a person that helps kids and help the community, okay, I have to put a mechanism in place, okay, to also make sure I don't get out of bounds, and that's what the board for.
Yes.
You see, so I'd have my own little board, and I could get my complaints would come in from the kids and, well, what's going on, why your grades are down, why you was late to school, why you ain't been to school, what is happening, you get suspended. When we get people in place, that's what we have to do. We have to be the mothers and daddies. Persons like us can have to take responsibility as the mother and daddy and the guardians, because we do take on the guardian role.
Yes.
That's why we ourselves got to become thousandaires and millionaires, because if we get it, getting funded, we can help those kids to become the best they can.
That's right.
Doctors, lawyers, business-minded, great policemen. And the thing is, they have integrity. I know what's right from wrong.
And it's only a drop in the bucket.
Yeah.
It's only a drop in the bucket. You know what I'm saying? But when I heard some 2 or 3 years ago when they was talking about the Over the Hill Initiative program,
Yeah.
I really thought all of this would have been covered in that.
Oh, I glad. Boy, look, you preach. Boy, you
know,
some. Go ahead.
Scrooge, I don't have to be a part of a program, but if it's benefiting my community, if it's
You're all for
benefiting my country, I all for it. I'm all in for it. And when I heard about the Over the Hill Initiative, and a couple of the business persons in my community, they were so excited
about it.
And, weeks go by,
Nothing
months
happened.
go by, and
Nothing happened.
everybody's still complaining. And so much money was allocated, for these things. And how you could be complaining and they say you just go down there and fill out the form and, sign up and
It ain't that. It wasn't. It
Man,
wasn't like that. It was difficult.
they say the tape was so red.
Fast ready.
Man, listen to me.
And it's supposed to be for the inner city people.
The inner city people. And when I look at the board and those who was in charge,
You could see what's going
I
on
say
now.
that. I mean, I don't
You see the
know.
local barbers getting these small business. Let me show you why they didn't take this serious. First of all, if it's a small business, there are many barber shops out there. How many did this small business acceleration assist those small barbers? No. What about the small convenience stores? No. What about the little small what you call barber, little bakeries or whatever it is,
Tire shop.
tire shop,
Yeah.
or all these inner city businesses that needs assistance? Did you go around and see how you could just register them and say, look here, how could we help you improve? No.
No. To be honest with you, Scrooge, and I like just like you on the ground. Moving through on the ground, conversating with people. I personally could sit here today and say I don't know of no person who I know, especially in the Baintown community, who say they were
awarded.
assisted or
I can concur with that.
I saw 1 or 2 new businesses develop,
They do it off their own.
and those persons, I know them from the
Can't
the
assume.
community.
All right.
I know some places from the outside, they come in there because they figure because we have the business in the community, we could benefit from it. But those places who from the community, who are their small business and still have their small business, they wasn't assisted.
And when you talk about that, that's some of my work right there, you know, what I was given to the government, you know, leading up under the Progressive Liberal Party under Mr. Christie administration in 2012, 2013, 2014. The urban design, that was called the Urban Design Law. Now when the FNM won the general election, they switched it from the Urban Design Law to the Overland Initiative. The programs remain the same, but different people take the realm. And this is what I always say. We have programs that actually can make a difference in the country. But the minute the next administration comes in, they stop it, they change the name, and now we go right back to square one. That's why we back and forth. You don't believe this? All the solution for this country problem when it comes to crime, it's right here, you know. It's the fact of the matter is we just keep on going back from, we have the answer, and we're going way back 25 years. Then we had the answer. We just keep on going backwards. If we just was to keep the programs up and running and going for a 25-year period, where no government come and change the directory of the small business, of empowering the people, of cleaning up the streets, of building low-cost homes and having an urban renewal in there. You know what I mean? Creating green spaces. We'd see a more progressive community. Let me see what he say. Okay, we have to take a break. Okay. So the producer's telling me we have to take a break. So don't go away. I kind of a little excited. Don't go away. We'll be right back after the break on Guiding Radio 96.9 FM.
Don't take no back talk, no bribe,
Around the world, Cleveland Clinic is recognized as a leader in healthcare. Our team of experts relentlessly pursues the best for our patients. From groundbreaking cancer research to state-of-the-art heart surgery, life-saving innovations happen here every day. When it's time to travel for your health, it's time to travel to Cleveland Clinic. Your destination for care, for every care in the world. To learn more, visit clevelandclinic.org/Caribbean.
At Cartwright, our members know that there's a lot to smile about. They know that membership has its privileges. Guaranteed low pricing on every item, every time you shop. Each membership comes with 2 cards. That's one for you and a free card for a member of your household. Gold card holders earn an annual 2% rebate up to $500. Cartwright members get discounts at other participating businesses. So that's a lot to smile about. Whether it be clothing, appliances, home goods, or groceries, shop at Cartwright, where membership truly has its privileges.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
La 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 la. La 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 la.
We're back on Guiding Radio 96.9 FM. I'm your host, Valentino Brown, a.k.a. Scoot Your Scrooge, in the studios. You had a big man in the studios tonight. I want to give a shout out to my friend Santana Forbes and his wife. They're sitting down in the government ground. I know they might be getting a cold one or two. Hey, look at that. I want one of them too, you know. But yes, we're talking real talk. Community leaders right now who need a PLP, not after them. They just persons who reside in this community, whether it's Pastor Nan, C.B. Moss, Carlos Reed, Omar Thompson, Shaggy Chipman. We have Frankie Charms One. We have Fat Troy, down there through Sunlight Cottage. All us who are sincere, not greedy persons, who want a $100,000 contract and will keep the whole $100,000. Keep the whole $80,000 and then give the little scribbles to the kids. No. We don't want that. We don't want those kind of people getting contracts. We want people who say, look, I get $100,000. Okay? I say, I negotiating. Boss, I don't want to get in that personal money for the kids. So as a paid consultant, look here, I'd settle for $25,000 or $30,000 or this $100,000. This $70,000 has nothing to do with me. This $70,000 to make sure these kids get the best training, the best education, the best tennis, and at the end of the day, They lead them with a fruit bag on Friday with some watermelon, pineapple, because we want to teach them to eat healthy. Through the week, they get hot dog and hamburgers. You know what I mean? That little Gatorade. But on Friday, after they do a week of practice, or Saturday, they have a grocery stamp. They could go to Super Value. All of the kids could go to Super Value, get their own grocery, turning on the internet or whatever, Super Value, eh? And when they go home, they don't have to ask their parents for nothing, and they feel good with themselves, and they could go do their homework, knowing that they have what you call it now, check on, what you call it now? What you getting from you? What you getting from me? You know what I mean? Where you could go to Super Value and say, what you call them now? Coupon. We get them on Friday. We say, look here, well, this $100,000 I get every week, these 60 kids would come to you on Saturday to get groceries for them, for their lunch throughout the week. And we'd also have a little funds here on the side, a little $50 or $100 for their lunch money to go, even though they're getting, because you know kids like to move around when they go to school, and we want them to become and feel relaxed, you know? You understand what I'm saying? So we're giving them coupon, we're giving them healthy food on a Saturday, which we could work with Bomsey on this. So there's many doors that could open with this program with the Bain and Grandstand Summer Games. There's so many opportunities that I see here, because, you know, this year, this is what we actually been doing in the area for many, many years, getting the church involved, getting Corporate Bahamas involved, getting the member of parliament on board. I want Mr. Watson to know this. You are so vital to him because you understand the needs of the people, and your heart is big. But he's going to have to do more. He's going to have to vouch to the Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture to pass a legislation in Parliament where they have to get some millions of dollars for NCD programs to distribute to community leaders who are doing excellent work in the community. What I mean? People who are working on the ground. They'd be the liaison in between the community and the government. So the MP would be working directly with them, and they'd be dispersing the funds to the kids so that they have a better future. That's how this thing's supposed to work.
Yeah. I just want to say, and I want to put a challenge out to the persons in our community, that when we get these parks renovated again, we want you to take care of the parks, all right? We want you to show some appreciation for the parks. But better still, I hope to see someday that they have like park wardens who oversee the parks. I mean, Scooty, you like a park warden right now with your park down there on Hay Street. You know what I'm saying? But we need to move in that direction. Where the person responsible for the park, responsible for the upkeep of the park, and so forth, you know. I see down in some other communities, they have nice bleachers and so forth. We want them too in Bain and Grandstand.
So this is things you have to push for.
Yeah, these are things we'll be pushing for from our committee standpoint. You see?
To help get the support from Mr. Watson, because his hands are full too, and we're going to have to actually help him push to get these things passed in Parliament.
Well, you know, all hands on deck.
Yes.
If we want a better community,
we're going to have to.
We can have to agitate and work.
Yes.
You know, you can't just sit back. And I want to challenge the parents to come out. Bring your kids out to these summer games.
And support them.
And support and watch your kid perform. Because some of these parents don't even know that their kids have talent.
Yeah.
But we can display that for them. We want to provide that safe environment that they can come out and display their talents. And the parents could sit down, the fathers could come and see their sons. And this is not only for the boys. This is
for the girls.
For the girls also.
It's for the country.
You know what I'm saying?
Because people like entertainment. The old people tired of hearing the ambulance and all the young people getting killed. They want to cheer at our Bahamian athletes, like how those kids did such a great job at Carifta. Where it was in Kingston? Where the Carifta was there? In Kingston? And you saw the performance of those Jamaicans, those Bahamian athletes. And what made me laugh is how the Bahamian guy was running the four. But I don't know what it was. The long race, and the Bahamian guy was there, and the Jamaican guy was there. They going for it back and forth, you know? Yeah. That reminds us of Ramon Millen, the American guy. You remember? That's the same thing, you know. It's just Jamaica this time in the bomber. So old people like to see them things. Oh, look at that young kid. Go boy. That make them live long. Not, my grandma always said this. She always said this. She said, Scoochie, you think I don't care? I used to be terrorized in the streets, you know. That's my grandma used to tell me, you know. She said, but you need to stop, man. She said, you causing me to die. She said, when I was this age, say, Ronnie, I was so peaceful, like I sleep with my door open. You know, all I hear is gunshot, ambulance, argument. My grandmother say, Scoochie, I getting ready to leave this earth because I can't live in this world. All right, this ain't the world I grew up in, and this ain't the Bahamas I want to live in, especially when our grandson died of gun-related incident. Wow. You know, that was it for her. She said, this ain't the Bahamas. She said she could have walked anywhere in the Bahamas and she was safe. She could have go to her neighbor's house and get something to eat. Or the neighbor could come to her to get something to eat. And they would look out for all the kids in the community. And if you get beat once from growing up in the community, you would get next one. So you had to behave in a man. She said, this is completely opposite the way she lived. And she said she can't take that because every day she hear the ambulance. She said, Scoot, you need to change. You know, she's like, someone go, and who could take care of you? And she tell me these things, you know. Yeah. You understand? And these words they get to me. Eventually they get to me because she passed away. And everything she told me. Now, I said I ready to get out of this world because right now, I was the bad guy on the streets, right? And how I looking at the world now, with all this sin and high places and neglect we getting for people who could help. Eh? Sometimes I can't believe this the Bahamas we live in, bro. Yeah. This.
I feel it, man. I feel your pain. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, some nights I home and, you know, I think it was about 3 or 4 weeks ago. It was 3 nights back to back. All I could hear is gunshots. You know, I talk about that Friday, that Saturday, that Sunday. And I was like, man, this, you know, this ain't real. You know the sound of gun. You know when you hear a little gun.
And a big gun.
And I was hearing big gun.
You know the 40, you know the 9mm, you know the AK-47.
Yeah, them choppers was just ringing off, you know. And it was just unbelievable, you know. And you really could appreciate to a certain extent, too, during the COVID.
The lockdown.
Yeah, remember with lockdown.
That saved plenty lives.
Yeah, and it was peaceful and quiet.
Yeah,
if you come out on your porch, you could hear the birds, them in the evening time. And, you know, 4 days in the morning, you could hear the birds.
That's the first time it was free.
Yeah, you really could hear
it was free.
Yeah, you know.
You could hear the birds, you could hear the bees.
Yeah, you know, the air was fresher and so forth, you know. So, you know, it gives you a time, it gives you that time to really reflect on where you want to go, what you want to do.
That's the Bahamas we're looking at.
Yeah, what kind of, you know, future you want, you see. And when things like that happen, like the pandemic, you know, it gives you those great leaders. They use that as an opportunity to make change.
Yes.
For the better.
Yes.
You know. But I also want to say,
go ahead,
Scoochie, that we have a Saturday program.
Go ahead.
We have a Saturday program from the Southern Recreational Grant. Most of you know that's the government grant, where we teach the kids 12 and under. So you can bring your kids out, 12 and under, you bring them out. It's a basketball sporting development, teaching them how to dribble, teaching them the right way to shoot, teaching them how to stance for defense, all right? How to pass, just the fundamentals of basketball. And that is being done on the Southern Recreational Ground, Hay Street Park.
Yes, I saw.
Abel Joseph is doing it there. Yes. And it's also on Salem's. Albury Sales, the school grounds, okay, on Saturday from 10 to 12. All of them locations from 10 to 12, all right, in the morning. Every Saturday morning, all right, once it's not raining, weather permits.
Wow.
All right, and we have coaches there that teach them the right way.
Yes.
All right, and that's going to be an ongoing program, and sometime next year. If it happens before then, but we're focusing on next year, we want to introduce baseball program every Saturday, teaching
That's
them
great.
the fundamentals of baseball.
Man, check out Chad Chisholm. Come on, man.
Man.
What more? Listen. What more? Listen. Radek Bowe. He come from BM. He's a BM, you know. The world champ, heavyweight champ. He have Bahamian roots.
Okay.
All right. We have Tank Johnson, who's a Bahamian.
Yeah.
Right. We have Clay Thompson. Let me just name some of these names. We have
Tank Johnson is the one who knocked.
One Holyfield.
Holyfield, and
Yes,
they say
yeah.
that don't count.
All right.
Yeah.
And One Holyfield is my favorite boxer, you know? But Tank is a Bahamian.
Yeah.
So let's just name these names of excellence that has come through the Bahamas, and we remember all of them. We have Michael Thompson, right? He came out the number one draft in the NBA in the 1970s, correct?
Yes.
He going on to win 2 championships. He had a son by the name of Clay Thompson, who was one of the best sharpshooters in NBA history, and he was able to win 3 championships. So if you look at Clay Thompson and his father, Michael Thompson, between father and son, they have the most championship, father and son, in the sports history, in all the sports.
I never even look at that.
You see this as serious as it is. I just do my study. No one else come up with this. I came up with this.
Okay.
All right? Then we look at Rick Fox,
Yeah.
3-time champion of Los Angeles Lakers. All right? Now watch this. In track and field, we have gold medals in the relay, Ramon Willer. Keith Atkins ran under 10 seconds, 9, he'd run 9, something under 10 seconds. He is now a head coach or a coach in Atlanta. We have Sabatina Fangs, Debbie Ferguson McKenzie, gold medalist. We have Tony William Darlin, 2-time Olympic gold medalist. Pauline Davis, Sadawa Knowles, who won gold medals at the Olympics in 1950. Sadawa Knowles won gold in sailing. We have so many great athletes. What more?
Elijah Obed.
Elijah Obed won the welterweight champion. I think that was the first welterweight champion that Elijah Obed won in boxing. In swimming, we had many different athletes, Knowles and what a lady name now. Her daddy name, I get a name right now, he was the Minister of Tourism. Wonderful Wallace.
Yeah.
So we had athletes at the highest level who are part of the Bahamas,
Yeah. Who excel.
who excel once given the opportunity.
Yes.
All right? Tomlinson, A. Robertson,
And don't forget our boy who played now with the Phoenix Suns.
DeAndre Ayton, number
Yeah.
1 pick, and he's probably right now in the playoff, he is the top 3 best player in the league today, DeAndre Ayton. Or we also have Buddy Hield, who is the youngest to reach, I think, 1,000 3-pointers or something over Steph Curry. He is the youngest player. He broke Steph Curry record as the youngest player to hit over, I think, 1,000 3-pointers or something like that. So if we look at the skills level in the country, then my boy Jay Philippine, who is the broadcaster on Freeport News, he came out for me on H Street Park.
Yeah?
Yeah, Jay Philippine, you see him on the news?
Yeah.
He guys, all them, I train all of them. Yeah. And then Abel Joseph, international player, who was supposed to be on the show today. He won Street Legend. He won the Slam Dunk with Carlos Reed. He played in the Canadian League. He played on the Bahamas national team.
Yeah.
So what more do we need? They just need the opportunity. And none of them who we talked about besides Clay Thompson and Radek Bowe, Radek Bowe work as well. But Clay Thompson, they get a blessing from their father. Michael Thompson worked hard to get a scholarship to go, to be able to leave the Bahamas and have a better life.
Yes.
You see?
Yes.
So yes. So we have a lot.
Yeah, man.
So we have to invest. That's why me and you, all of us who are community leaders, who are doing this program in the community, the government is getting investments of $100 million in Freeport, $400 million. And yes, they are praising that, which is great because, like I said, the economy has been hurting for the last 2-3 years under COVID-19. But we're going to have the investment. The money really needs to invest, and the money needs to invest in people.
Yeah.
All right? Because we're going to have to be able to take care of those kids in these programs.
And some of
They
these
need tennis.
And some of these kids gonna have to work in these big multi-million-dollar program investments.
That's right. So we have to be empowered to take care of the less fortunate, the better lose their life. Marco Archer lost their life. All right? They were sending us a signal. Do we understand the signal? You know what the signal is? We need help. Help from who? Help from those in the church. Help from me and you. Help from the politicians. They're asking for help. All right? Everyone who you see went through all these tragedies and these horrific incidents, they're asking for help, and we have to provide the help. And that means we're going to have to invest directly in these inner city communities. We're going to directly into these schools. And if we could empower the community leaders by giving them contracts where they could have something for themselves to take care of their family. So if I was to get $100,000 contract, I put in the $30,000 for me to deal with me yearly. The $30,000 for me, the $100,000 to take care of those kids, to make sure they have the best. The best! So we become their guardian. And we keep them on record. We track them from primary school to junior school to senior school. We take them through step by step. That's what we want to do. That's what we're going to have to do. We have to be guardians. So if the parents aren't there and they come from a broken home, also as community leaders who are dedicated, not greedy persons, not persons who are involved with the PLP involved and after them putting party before people. You could be a part of any one of these parties, but you understand one thing. This is for the greater good. All right? Because if we don't have that little young boy right there, I guarantee you, what I've seen with my eyes over the years, there's no one in this country who's seen more bad boys than me, or had acquaintance with more bad boys, or brought up more bad boys than me in this country. Besides of what I'd say between Stephen Dyer Stubbs and then Kelsey Lundy or Marvin Bodie. So we could be anywhere tie in there, right? With guys who we knew, who we trained, who we sent out there, or who hang around us. So I know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right? If we could do that, and if we do it in a positive way,
Right.
we can make change in this country. We just have to invest. So if they're investing in hotels, 100 million, 400 million, that's all good. When are we going to invest in people? This sporting program right now, this being in Grandstand Summer Program, we're going to keep at this. And I hope that Ms. Watson be able to at least, in the near future, get at least $1 million or $2 million a year to run this program. You know, that's what we're speaking of.
Yeah.
In order for him to be able to help us so we could help those who we wouldn't reach, but we'd reach for him.
That's right.
And that's what this job was. And I'm saying that to all communities. You know, ask, you know, for the sporting program to be funded properly.
Yeah.
You know, go ahead before we go.
No, man, I just want to say, you know, I want to thank you, schools, for this opportunity. I want to thank my committee members, my advisors. I want to thank the Member of Parliament for being on Grandstand, for giving me this opportunity again. I also want to just thank my community for believing in me. And they know I ain't going to leave them behind. They know once my truck passes, something can fall off the truck. All right? And so let's work together to make a better community, to make a better Bahamas. I want to give shout out to my good friend too, Candy. Candy over there in Nassau Village with Foam.
Oh, Foam, yes. She need to get funded. Again, that's the next one who's supposed to be getting funded.
Yeah, she's doing an excellent job, man.
She has the home and all them ladies, she fixing up her own house for safe house. Come
Safe.
on, government, man.
Yeah.
Give Candy $100,000 or $200,000 a year. Come on, man.
Yeah, these programs and persons who really have the heart, they need to be funded, like you said. Funded.
Have to.
Yeah. And Brother
As
Reed,
long as-
Brother Reed, I just want to say, Brother Reed, I ain't see Brother Reed for the year, but I been
Carlos Reed?
Yeah, I ain't seen him for the year. That's my boy. Been following him. I see you have the brotherhood going, which is a good thing. You know what I'm saying? That I can be home shortly, Brother Reed, coming out the church, to hear the word from you directly. You know, but just be encouraged, brother.
You know, anytime I see you on TV or I hear you on the radio, you know what I'm saying? And like when I pray in the night, I pray that you know, God continue to keep you covered. And I hope you do likewise for me. But my motto has always been, when good men do nothing, that's when evil prevails.
And that's exactly what happened in our country.
Yeah, there's a lot of good men out there, you know, but they ain't doing nothing.
Yes.
So when good men do nothing, that's when evil prevails.
That's right.
So those of you who out there who doing, don't care how small it is.
Continue.
You continue because you're fighting evil. And I want to give shouts out to my good friend, my big brother. All of us from CC speaking, me and him from the same corner. The Deputy Commissioner of Police, Clayton Fernando. All right. Just want him to be encouraged. May God continue to give him strength to continue to do a good work. He's a being down man also.
Yeah, I know him personally from when I used to get locked up in CID. He was a stern officer.
Yeah,
You see, very stern.
Yeah, and to all the other police officers out there, good friend Brent Johnson, me and him going to school together. I think he's by the police garage now.
Yeah.
Decky Hanna, I think superintendent over there by firearms. So when I go in away, I have to take my firearm over there to him. Licensed firearm.
That's good.
Take it
You
over
are
there
a
to him.
community-minded
To
person,
be, you know,
yes.
for him to secure it, you know, when I traveling and so forth. You know, and all the other rest of police officers out there.
Yeah.
We probably failed to mention, but Melvin Miller, my little brother.
All right.
Yeah, I want to encourage him over there at the Grove Police Station. I think he's superintendent. If he ain't there, he'll be there tomorrow.
That's good. Yes.
Yeah. So, Scrooge, I just want to thank you again for the opportunity.
My pleasure.
For presenting the being Afghanistan Summer Games to the Bahamas and letting them know that's what we're all about. We're looking for more coaches. We're looking for more coaches, and we'll be doing walkabouts in the community starting next week. So if you see us on the ground with our being Afghanistan Summer Games shirt
Register.
on,
Register your kids.
Register your kids, and
Come out.
We'll be also assisting with
Stalls.
with stalls, but we will also be assisting with transportation when these games start.
See? That's what I'm talking. Yes.
We have points where we'll be picking up and getting the kids to the
To
game
and fro.
and making sure they get back
Back home.
home safely.
Yes. You see?
Right? And we want to use persons in the community who
For
have
transportation?
who have buses.
Buses?
Yeah, buses. You know, we
So this is an opportunity for them also.
for them also. This
So if
is
you have buses in the community of being in
you can
Grandstand,
come and register.
so you can move the kids to and fro.
So you can sign up.
You make a couple dollars and you also get box of them.
You know what I'm saying?
This is good. This is good. This is good. This is good.
You know what I'm saying? We want to empower persons in our community. So we're giving them the first preference and opportunity to be a part of this, put their best foot forward. All right?
Mr. Watson, I think you onto something. You better keep this guy Mark. Mark is my friend. I listen to me. If it wasn't for Mark, I wouldn't have been here speaking or even being a part of this being in Grandstand Summer Games. I just want to let you know. Right? It's because of Mark. I know his heart. I know his dedication. And that's the reason he's in the studio today, and this is the reason I support him also.
Yeah. And I wanted to also reach out to Reds. Reds are coming to see us Sunday.
Who is that is?
Reds, but to who have the being down.
All right.
Yeah, Augusta Street.
All right.
Yeah.
And, okay, that seems like we're out of time. I want to say a special request to many senior officers. Again, Commissioner of Police, I know him personally, Commissioner of Police, the Deputy Commissioner of Police, Clayton Fernando. I love Clayton Fernando, his stance. ASP Cash, Ashton Green Slade, Marco Cordet, Inspector Marco Cordet, Mark Barrett.
Yeah, that's my boy.
Inspector ASP Cash,
All right.
Solomon Cash. Assistant Commissioner of Police, Solomon Cash. There's many other officers who wouldn't even want to call.
Kelsey Monroe also.
Kelsey Monroe, Inspector Kelsey Monroe.
Yeah.
And I just want to say this again. Clayton Fernando, there are a lot of good police officers on the force. But we have to mention the fact there's a lot of rogue cops on the force who need to be exposed. And you're going to do a better job of informing the general public when we see officers get charged with legal firearm and getting charged with armed robbery, just as well as armed forces, defense force officers who getting fined for forgery or armed robbery and also carrying illegal firearm. This gives the beg the question that if they can have a legal firearm, that means Eh? You know what that means, right? Because they're illegal. That means they had to get it by illegal means. Are you questioning them? How come you're not questioning these police officers and defense force officers? Where's the serial number? You just getting put before the court. So we just like for you to address the beam in public. Let us know, yes, the criminals are doing this, but at the same time, our police officers who are rogue, they make us to shame. We're going out of them with the full extent of the law once they get proved guilty. But we need for you to be addressing this. This need to be a national matter where we're talking about the rogue police officers who are breaking the law and using the law as their shield to wreak havoc on the Bahamian people. And the criminals are the ones that get blamed and not the police officers. All right? You didn't catch on to that. It's in the newspaper. I give you a prime example about Zach. And I would like to say to the Member of Parliament for being in grandstand, Mr. Watson, you got a good man in Mark. Pay the man. Speak and pass legislation so that you can get some big money put in the sporting program so that you can be able to pay me because I know my work. All right? Okay, so I want to say thanks to Mark and all those who are listening. We'll see you next week on Inside the Inner City. And good night, enjoy. Being and Grandstand Summer Program, June 27th to August 1st, 2022. Get yourself registered. Mark and crew will be walking through Bain and Grandstand. So family, mothers, fathers, get your kids registered for a jamboree for 1 month. 5 zone, 3 sports, 3 division. Ages 12 and under to 18 and under and adults. Okay? So we see you next week. Enjoy.
La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. I represent Bahamian people. I from Nassau, Bahamas, big up Bintan, bro. Boy, I from Bintan, bro. Right between West and Augusta, where them two roads meet, they call it Wilkinson Street. Manners and respect was like a sign blank check. It seems the ones that come in after quick to disrespect. You see, this life in the ghetto never easy. So many hungry days break till it grieve me. But I do